values, so I wanted to make a device that would be helpful for recovery and be something that's easy and fun to use. Okay, so I'm going to be talking about why I chose this project. So I chose this project because it was just an interest of mine, and I really am into biomedical engineering, which is why I felt like this would be something that's fun to make. So basically, this is a wrist compression sleeve, and it has a bunch of different components on here. So some of them are these vibration motors. I have an accelerometer, flex sensor, ESP32, and obviously my board. So yeah, this is my device, and I'm going to be demonstrating how it works real quick. So one of the features that I added was a calibration feature, and it basically allows the user to set their own thresholds for wrist movements, because everyone's wrist is at like a different stage in rehab. So I already entered a couple calibration values, so I bent my wrist up and down, and so these are the values that it generated from that. And so now when I start my code, it starts running, and if my wrist is bent up and down out of these ranges, the vibration motors buzz. I have the vibration motors attached, so you can't really see it, but you can feel the vibrations. Take them off just for So as you can see, this vibration motor is buzzing because my wrist is bent out of the threshold. And another feature that I added was the progress feature, where it basically tracks the amount of reps that you've done. So in my device, if I type the word progress, it starts this thing I created called rep mode, where basically every time I bend my wrist up and down, it counts it as a rep, and it causes this LED to flash. So I'll show a quick. So here's a quick video of the code. So it starts the code, and as you can see, I'm doing reps over here, and the LED is flashing. And throughout this, with these like other features that I added, some other cool things that you can do is you can set goals for yourself. So if you were to type the word goal and enter any number after it, you can set like a number of reps that you want as your goal. And once you complete that goal in the app, it says goal is achieved. Another cool feature I added was help, where basically if you type the word help, it shows you all the available commands. And I also added a feature called status, where if you type the word status, it shows you all the commands with what you've done and what you haven't done. Yeah, as you can see on the screen, when I entered the word status, it shows you the rep count, whether you achieved your goal, your best session, so the best amount of reps that you've done in one session, and yeah. Okay, so now I'll be talking about some of my modifications. So as I already mentioned earlier, I did add this calibration feature, which basically allows the user to set their own personal bent up and bent down values. I also added the rep counter, which keeps track of the amount of reps that you've done and causes the LED to flash. I also added a Bluetooth command system, which through the app that is there, it connects with this piece that I have. The ESP32 has a built-in Bluetooth module. And I also added 3 other features called status, goal, and help. Now I'll be talking about some of the challenges I faced and my solutions to them. So as Sophia mentioned, I did have a couple of challenges that I ran into today that I had to like debug pretty quickly, but the main challenges that I ran into were like rep accuracy, where if I bent my wrist up and down, instead of counting it as 1 rep, it would count as like 2 or 3. So in order to fix this, I added a couple of delays, and I removed the set values that I had previously, and I replaced it with the calibration feature. And that connects to my next challenge, which was the calibration feature. there was a lot of code that went into this, and it would take the values, but it wouldn't necessarily print them and use those values. So to do this, I removed the unnecessary code and cleaned up my code and simplified it a lot. Another issue I ran into was Bluetooth bugs, which is honestly a big thing, because sometimes when I was running my code, it would just randomly quit and close. So to fix this, I turned off low power mode and I changed my cables and replaced a ton of And obviously there's a ton of things that I learned at Bootcamp, but I'll just state like a couple of them. So some of them that I learned was how to read and use sensor data. Sensor data was honestly a really big challenge, but I was able to like figure out how to use it. Basically, some of my values they wouldn't work right, but by understanding and like setting different thresholds and trying different values, I was able to like create formulas and use what I needed. I also learned how to put multiple components together. So that was soldering, sewing, just connecting cables, and like learning how to like just do like I guess electrical engineering. And I also learned how to write in C++, which I didn't know before. I knew Python, and I guess they're kind of similar, but C++ was entirely new to me, and thanks to all the instructors, I was able to learn. And I also learned how to debug hardware and software issues, which was another big thing in my project. There were just a lot of different issues, and I was able to work them out. So I'll be talking about some of my next steps. So as you can see on here, it's just like a bunch of loose wires. So if I were to get a little bit like of extra time, or if I were to work on this more on my own, I would probably like put all the wires into like a small box or something so I can like manage my wires more. I would also probably add like a small screen here on this wrist sleeve. I feel like that's just a little easier than having to open an app or check your computer or whatever. And I would also add another feature so that it can like save the data. So currently how I'm saving my data is through the app, but if I were to rerun the code, it wouldn't save my already existing data. So if I like added a feature which would allow like long time data saving with some memory or something, it would help with long-term